What you're looking at here could become hundreds, if not thousands of Chilodo seeds, and all of them should be female. What I've got here is 2 plants. They're Chilodo F4 generation. The one on the left looks like a male, but it was actually female that was reversed. And then the one on the right is a true female, and doing a breeding process. And one thing I want to mention before we get too deep into this video is I am no master breeder. I'm a small home grower. This is actually the only cross I've ever done. I started in 2019 and just kind of working the generations over the years. Now I'm finally working on doing a feminized breeding. That's something that a lot of people have been asking for these days, and we're here, we're doing it. So in this video, I want to talk about not just how these 2 plants have been growing, but I do want to get into detail on the STS spray, the formula for that, the recipe for that, and how I went about doing this spray strategy for it. And then also what I expect from these plants from here on out. Okay, so let's get into it here. We'll talk a little bit about how these plants are being grown right now. And again, let's consider this for entertainment purposes because I'm no true master breeder, okay? So the plant on the left is actually on day 24. This is a plant that was reversed. People often call it a donor plant. And then the plant on the right is actually on day 16. So it's a little bit behind in regards to the reverse split plant. And this plant on the right is called the receiving plant. Now there's a reason why they space things out, because when you first put a plant into flowering, you start to do a spray of STS. And I'll go over the formula here in a second, but you spray it for about a week and then you put in the receiving plant into flowering. That gives it time to actually, the donor plant, to start to create pollen sacs and release pollen at the perfect time, or around the perfect time that the receiving plant is able to receive the pollen and then create the seeds, get a high yield of seeds to come from it. So let's get into the STS spray before we move on here. And this is something that I want to give credit to Mr. Soul for. Well, actually, there's been quite a few people over the years who have come onto my podcast and revealed how they reverse plants in order to create feminized seeds. And Mr. Souls was really the one that kind of stuck with me. He simplified it, I felt like, and it made things a lot easier for me and actually gave me success rate, both the couple times that I have tried it. I tried other methods in the past. Shout out to Khalifa Genetics. He has a very popular YouTube video online. That one I tried out before, but I either got the formula right or just had some finicky genetics that didn't reverse. And then you can come across that sometimes, to where these genetics are just so finicky or tougher to reverse. And some you can actually get to reverse, but not actually release much pollen. And I had that happen to me before as well. So I've had a lot of failures and I've had quite a few successes as well. But the successes, some had no pollen, some had barely any pollen. I'll be interested to see what happens off of this one. This one's actually a little bit larger of a plant as far as the reversed plant that I've grown in the past. So I'm hoping to get more pollen than before. So let's get into the STS spray formula, and I want to bust out a couple things right here real quick. We've got silver nitrate and we've got sodium thiosulfate tetrahydrate. I think if I'm pronouncing that right. These things you can pick up on Amazon. You need this, distilled water, and a spray bottle. So I got these small spray bottles. I think these are 16 ounces. This is what I use. Some people have larger ones, but it's real important that you don't have light to hit it at all times. So it has this kind of, is this opaque, or it has some sort of a tinting, an amber tinting on this, so I guess light doesn't get through as much. And I do keep this in a cabinet so it's dark at all times, but these are the main things that you need. And let me bust out the recipe here and I can say exactly what the recipe is to make STS spray. And by the way, I'll have links to the silver nitrate and sodium thiosulfate down in the description section below so you can easily get to it. But I busted out here, I don't have everything memorized here, but I'll read it along and I'll also put it on the screen as we're going through here. So the silver nitrate, you basically take 0.5 gram into 500 milliliters of distilled water. Now I've used reverse osmosis water in the past. Somebody told me I could do that, and that might have been something that contributed to me not being successful. So I just went ahead and bought a gallon of distilled water, and ever since I've been using distilled water, it's actually been working. So I do recommend distilled water. So you've got that one mixture, then you got sodium thiosulfate, 2.5 grams of that into 500 milliliters of distilled water. Then you mix the two together to create a stock solution. Now what I'll do is I'll have those two separate solutions in jars, and you don't want to have any light get to those jars. And some people keep those jars in a fridge, for example. I keep them just in a cupboard at room temperature, and that seems to work well for me. But keep them separate. Once you mix them together, they've got kind of a shortened shelf life from there. So you want to use it up pretty quickly. So what I typically do is you basically have to take that stock solution and dilute it down a third strength. So for that 16-ounce bottle, what I'm doing is I'm just using about 15 ounces to make the math simple. I do 5 ounces of the stock solution, then I add 10 ounces of the distilled water. So that's a third strength. And then from there, you go into the spray process. And this is something that I've heard so many different things over the years. And so I'm assuming that there's so many different ways that you can actually do it successfully. I'll read off the way that I've been doing it. And this is shout out to Mr. Soul, once again from Brothers Grimm. He is a longtime breeder since the 90s. And when he came on my podcast and really busted out for me, it was so simple and something that I figured I wanted to try. And that is spraying every single day for the first 7 days. And he mentions not just spraying like the node sites and where buds would potentially be, but spraying the entire plant, the leaves, stems, everything. But if you go over to Khalifa Genetics, for example, he has a different strategy. He only sprays the bud sites or where the nodes are. And he also has a different spraying times. So looking at my cheat sheet here, he sprays indicas once every 5 to 6 days, hybrids once every 4 days, sativas once every 3 days. So again, there are different spray strategies that you can do. I'm just kind of wanting to reveal what has been working for me, which is Mr. Soul's strategy, which is spray every single day before the lights go off is what I do. I basically have a timer set. So 5 minutes before the lights go off, I prep, start spraying, and then once I'm done spraying, boom, the lights go off. And then from there, you've got 12 hours with the lights off. Everything kind of dries out from there. And then when the lights get back on after those 12 hours, there's no issues with it because you're not supposed to really spray while the lights are on. Okay, so after 7 days of spraying, what you do from there is you put the receiving plant in the same tent. So I did that, and that's why there's a 7-day difference between the two. And so this plant right here that was reversed, it's gonna go about 30 days in flower on this light cycle, and then it's gonna start releasing pollen. Again, we're on day 24, plenty of pollen sacs. They should start opening up within 6 days. And then from there, this plant is gonna be on day 21, which is often said to be a good time to start pollinating plants. Now, that's another thing where many people have different preferences. Some people like to pollinate on day 21, 22, 23. Some people like to go up to 28, like me. I learned from Subcool, rest in peace. He likes to pollinate around day 28 of flowering, so that's typically what I've been doing. And then some people go up into the low 30s, 30 days after flipping a flower, and they'll pollinate. So when this plant is on day 30 of the 12-12 light cycle, pollen sacs will start to open up. This will start pollinating. I'll leave them in the same grow space for 7 days. Then what I'll do is I'll take this plant and I'll shake it hardcore all the way throughout the receiving plant and try to pollinate as much as possible. And then I'll kill off the donor plant. It'll go bye-bye. And then from there, you just keep this other plant growing and it'll start to produce seeds. And I keep it usually about 2 weeks longer than the typical breeder's recommendation. For Chilled OG, the harvest window is between 56 and 63 days. I'm typically going a few weeks after the 63-day mark in order to try to get a higher yield of viable seeds. So that's just been working out good for me. And yeah, so far so good. I've really been happy with how things looking so far. I grow these a little bit differently than flower runs, right? I mean, you can see that they're both on the Trader Grow. It makes things so much easier. I am using precision feeding. I'm doing the Athena blended line without fade. I just want to make sure that these plants are healthy throughout without having to worry about anything else. So that's been working out pretty good. I like to keep the donor plant in smaller containers, or if it was a male, I would put that in a smaller container as well. Because the plant typically, I don't want to say it needs to be smaller, but you don't really need, like a small plant can't produce a ton of pollen. So there's really no need for me to have this in a 5-gallon, 7-gallon, or whatever. Me being a small home grower, I'm able to grow a pretty decent sized plant into a 2-gallon container. Now for the other plant, I'd like it to grow even bigger. So having it in a 5-gallon has just been helpful for me. And then there are so many different ways to go about it. I'd love to know in the comment section below, how do you go about it? Do you like to put males or reverse plants in smaller containers and your pollinated plant in larger containers? Let me know. So this is just the way that I'm doing it this time around. Again, I can't emphasize it enough. There are so many different ways to go about this process. So I'd love to know in the comment section below, how do you go about reversing a plant? Do you use something like STS, or do you do something like Colloidal Silver, which is a whole different way to go about it? And then what is your spray strategy as well? Are you spraying every day? Are you spraying every couple days? Do you spray just the nodes? Do you spray the entire plant? I'd love to know down in the comments section below. If you're not already signed up to my email list, you want to be. That's where I announce special releases that happen. You can scan that QR code right there. That will take you to it. And then just add in your name and email and press the submit button, and you'll be notified when I have releases that happen. And if you want to see more videos about breeding from me, click that playlist right there. There's a whole bunch of videos linked there. And I want to give a shout out to AC Infinity. Thank you so much for sponsoring this channel, sponsoring this video. They hook up my viewers with a discount code. You can use code MrGrowIt15. That works on both their website as well as Amazon. And I'll definitely have a link to them as well as all the equipment you see in this video down in the description section below. Thank you all so much for tuning in this time around, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace out.